how do we move that camp? How do we move to a better place of not just reconciliation, but a word that Elder Casey Eagle Speaker taught me this summer, reconciliation. And I think that is the most important thing facing our nation right now. You know, this spring, when the remains of the children were found at Kamloops, and suddenly, it felt like people were talking about truth and reconciliation in a different way. I have to tell you something. I'm going to make an admission to you. My first response to that was a hard response. My first response to that was thinking, what took you so long? How could you not have known? Have you not been listening to the survivors? Have you not been listening to the elders? The first report on residential schools was written in 1907. Residential schools continued for 90 years after that. We've always known. We've always known. But then I talked to some folks and I spoke with some elders, and they helped me understand that my hard response was the wrong response. Because even though it may feel too late, it's not too little. Because with all those broken hearts across the country, we have to recognize that broken hearts are also open hearts. And this is our moment to fill those open hearts. To fill those open hearts with our voices, with cries for justice, with cries for truth, with cries for understanding, and with cries for action.
There was a story that was shared on September 30th from a gentleman, and that was called the ripple effect. And I'll share a little bit of that ripple effect story with you. When you cast that stone, that first ripple is yourself. The next one is your family. The next one is your community. Think about that.
Mike, she is running in Ward 7, is that correct? Ward 7 for councillor here at the City of Calgary. Please give a warm welcome to our Indigenous councillor to be.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank the organizers and especially the music today. Music is really healing. I was raised in music from my grandfather from the Piikani Nation, and he taught me that music is healing and we need to keep that in our traditions. Oki, Nitanako. My name is Marilyn North Pagan and I'm from the Piikani Nation. That's 2 hours south of here. The march that we did today, the necklace I wear today is from my grandmother, Gomi, Catherine, North Pagan, Crow Eagle, who was a matriarch to the English family. I had quite a journey alongside the City of Calgary. I found myself in a master's degree program where I ended up drawing out the issues with the MMIWG. Back then we didn't have a hashtag. All I had was piles and piles of research. And I started to put together a puzzle. When that puzzle was complete and I presented it to the systems in place, they weren't ready to hear it. I was called everything from a troublemaker to a person who basically could not speak or write English properly, and that I should go back to my community. I had to fight that next year just to walk across the stage with my fellow classmates because I wrote about MMIWG. It wasn't these ideas that came to me. It was the research that the people before me have left, and all I did was follow the trail. This tells me a lot of things. This tells me that the work is there. It's just a matter if these systems do not want to touch it, but we have to keep the advocacy going, that we will not go away as Indigenous women. When I completed my master's program, I was recruited onto a citizens advisory committee, and I actually have, spoken a lot beside our mayor here. And, normally I'm always giving a speech after him after he gives his big speeches. I remember one time for a CPS graduation, we were running for the podium together trying to give our speech, and so it's always a challenge trying to give a speech after our mayor. But he's always supported us. When I sat on that Citizens Advisory Committee to City Council, we had the support there, and we were tasked what was producing the local version of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The only one in existence in Canada is here in Calgary. During that time, I gave my commitment as an intergenerational person whose grandparents on both sides were at the residential schools. My father is a 60 scoop, and he's no longer. I lost him when I was 5 years old. I came to this table as a Canadian Forces veteran to support and to help with the betterment of all Calgarians. That was how they got me to the table. I know what these systems have done to me. I am a product of what the residential school systems have done. I am a product of what the 60 Scoop has done. And I am going to tell you right now, I'm still here today. I'm still here, and I'm still fighting for Calgarians. It's been a really hard road going along this campaign trail. Well, you know what I've heard? And one of the biggest learning experiences I went through was on September 30th. I had all these people who sat in front of me from the systems I'm trying to actually take apart and dismantle and to make better for everybody. I had these people defending their systems telling me that I wasn't good enough, but on September 30th, they had the audacity to put my policy I contributed to on their website saying that it's a priority. Audacity! We need to keep our voices loud, and we need to dismantle those systems. After I graduated high school, my grandfather, the musician Clarence Knowlton, the residential school survivor, he gave me the right. He says, you know what, people out there, they're gonna try and hurt you. They're gonna try and tell you that you're crazy, that you're a troublemaker. He gave me the right. He says, I'm Black Horse Society. You are going to be a warrior in the Canadian Forces and a Blackfoot warrior. We are going to give you that right so you can fight on behalf of the people, and especially Indigenous women. I stand before you not just as an Indigenous woman, but a person who fought for this country and for everybody of all colors. I deserve the right to be sitting at that table with my academics instead of allowing other people to use it. I ask you, everybody, on October 18th and even today, you have an opportunity to form a new relationship with your city. I ask you to vote for recovery, resilience, and reconciliation, and for all Indigenous women, and for everybody on Turtle Island. Thank you.